but some areas remain restricted. The fire now nearly 90% contained. It tore through a little over 14,000 acres. Over 9,000 structures are destroyed. Now, with the threat of rain and flooding looming, the state of California is taking urgent action.
Governor Newsom has signed an order to remove fire debris and to stabilize hillsides in those high-risk areas. We have Mario Ramirez live with what that means for the communities who've been impacted by the Eaton fire. Good morning to you, Mario.
You believe that they're celebrating the fact that he's going to remove the debris on an expedited basis? Because as you all know, after the destruction of the fires comes in the destruction from landslides, because they're still going through a relatively rainy season, from what I understand. Listen to this.
Jen, Bob, good morning. We know it's been about 2 weeks since both of these major wildfires, the Palisades and Eaton fires, broke out. And as the work continues to fully contain those fires, the state is taking action to prevent damage with the incoming rain. Now, I want to show you something here. We're along Pinecrest Drive, and this home, you can see it burned down. It sits right under the San Gabriel Mountains and the Eaton Creek. And now a big part of the burn scar, like the entire area, which now poses another threat of damage. So take a look. The Eden fire is nearly 90% contained, but it's left a burn scar stretching over 14,000 acres. And after touring the destruction last week and so many of these homes that were lost, yesterday, Governor Newsom issued an executive order to speed up wildfire debris removal in Los Angeles County to prevent more destruction in these burn zones if the region receives heavy rainfall this winter and spring. Now, the fires left debris and more burn scars across the local landscape, now posing another safety concern with rainfall that is forecasted to show on the way. Now, those burn scars with stripped vegetation, they don't absorb water at normal rates, and they can create mudslides, landslides, flash floods, and debris flows in these hillsides. The governor's executive order helping streamline emergency response work, like shoring up hillsides and clearing debris out of waterways quickly by suspending certain environmental rules and approval procedures for 90 days through the rest of the rainy season.
Through 90 days, through the rest of the rainy season. It's the rainy season. Fire hydrants were empty. Reservoirs were empty. Signing executive orders for 90 days to remove debris, to clear out the debris on an expedited basis, and to shore up the mountains, because there will be mudslides now that basically the topsoil has been burnt off, or whatever top vegetation has been burnt off, so there's nothing to hold the soil in place. So when it starts to rain, because it is still the rainy season, although apparently not rainy enough for them to actually trap the water to use it to put out the fires, it's just a tale of incompetence. And they will celebrate their own minuscule advancements faced with the absolute devastation of their incompetence. But just the brief update in California, 2 weeks, and those fires are still burning. Let me just see what the Palisades fire containment is at right now. What is the Palisades fire containment today? Oh, it's like 35%, 40%. Is there anything even left to burn? Latest update, Palisades fire is 65% contained. 2 weeks into it, 65% contained. And I do wonder, I say like not tongue-in-cheek, not glibly, and not to make fun, is it going to contain itself if it burns itself out? I mean, eventually it's going to burn itself out. So it'll be 100% contained because there's going to be nothing left to burn. But don't worry, Gavin Newsom is he's on top of the response to his incompetence with equally incompetent, absurd executive orders that are good for 90 days. And after that, you know what's going to happen? Same thing that happened in Lahaina, same thing that happened in East Palestine. I think the only reason they didn't go in to claim the land in East Palestine is because they don't want it. It's also too contaminated even for the government. Here, Lahaina, we'll see. They went in and tried to claim land that was otherwise privately owned through eminent domain, prime real estate. Here now they get to turn it into a green city, a 15-minute city, communist housing. But don't worry, they're going to eliminate the red tape to facilitate rebuilding afterwards. We'll see about that. I'll believe it when I see it. 65%, this is in Cryptus over at our community, says 65% means it's spreading. That's amazing. They had 13% contained after a week. 2 weeks later, 65% contained. At some point, it'll self-contain. It's the amazing thing. There'll be nothing left to burn. And people will still... Oh, I'm saying Lahaina. Sorry, not Lahaina. Lahaina. LT Vista. I always get corrected by our above-average locals community. Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, I don't mean to shout. But I am going to shout a lot today. Not quite as much as... Yes, I'll be shouting a lot today. There'll be fewer F-bombs. because my chubby cheek Grandma Edna's desk, my wife comes in and says, "Why is Grandma Edna's picture on your desk?" And I said, "This is why. She will be my reminder." "David, you don't have to swear so much." Well, Grandma Edna, unfortunately I do. And today's going to be one of those days. Not quite as bad as yesterday, but bad nonetheless. But before we even get into it, people, because we have a sponsor for today's show, it's a damn good sponsor. And they've got a damn good opportunity for it's a fringe benefit to buying the coffee. People, new studies are showing that drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee every day can slash your risks of death by 29% and cut heart complications nearly in half. But none of that matters if your coffee tastes like crap, burnt rubbish from, I shall not name the sugar-laden competition, but you all know who I'm talking about. It rhymes with Robbie Starbucks. Enter 1775 coffee, bold, hand-picked Bolivian beans, roasted in the USA, single origin, rigorously tested to the highest standards, and built for patriots who refuse to compromise. No fillers, no fraud, just pure coffee excellence. Other brands burn low-quality beans to mask their mistakes. 1775 selects the best, like choosing patriots over politicians, like choosing patriots over the smear merchant bastards of the mainstream media. Oh, it's coffee that boosts your metabolism, protects your heart, and keeps you sharper than a late-night Trump cheat. The best part, by the way, and this is going on right now, every dollar you spend at 1775 coffee gets you entered to win a blacked-out 2024 Cyber Tesla truck plus $30,000 cash. Built like a tank, the beast is apocalypse ready with the power to handle anything, whether it's your morning commute or the end of the world. Go to 1775coffee.com. Stock up, fuel your mornings with rebellion. Use code VIVA, 15% off. Don't miss your chance to drive off in a Cybertruck and cash out with 30,000 bones. That's 30,000. What was that? What was the scene? What was the scene in The Jerk where he's like, maybe I'll cash out all of the cojones. Maybe I'll do 25 here and put a little 25. I forget what the word was that he used for money, but everyone can use money, people. Up to a certain point. After a certain point, it actually becomes a destructive force. Now, getting into today's show. Everybody, it is a bizarre, highly emotive debate. I post a highlight. It's funny. I post a highlight from our Sunday night show of the Andrew Tate discussion, and I just know that it's going to make people upset, which is an indication that people are thinking emotionally and not objectively, period. If you get upset at a good faith discussion, if you get upset even at a bad faith discussion, you've got a problem. You are the problem, not the people who are engaging in open discussion. You want to have a discussion with a Holocaust denialist and you want to get upset about it, you can get upset about it. Congratulations, don't have the discussion. But if you get upset about it, if you react emotionally to what requires logic and critical analysis, you're the problem, period. I posted it out, and now this is going to make people's heads explode. Andrew Tate, first time I've ever had him direct interaction anywhere. I mean, I don't know if you call Twitter direct interaction, retweeted our analysis. And now I'm nervous that I'm going to get Tate lovers to get on my back because Andrew Tate's analysis is as follows. 2 men who do not like me very much are smart enough to see my case for what it is. Corrupt Romanian bullshit instigated by Biden's State Department. Yes. Oh, by the way, not even going to comment on the Andrew Tate case. I had on Kalen Georgescu talking about the Romanian constitutional courts overturning, annulling his democratically elected appointment to the second round of the presidential elections. Who was involved in that? Anthony Blinken, Tony Blinken. You got your Tony Fauci, war criminal, and you got your Anthony Blinken, Tony Blinken. Maybe not on par as a war criminal, but not far off. You get Tony Blinken involved in the Romanian constitutional court overturning an election, and people don't put 2 and 2 together like, okay, set aside how I feel emotionally because you have emotional responses to certain things. Think critically. The Biden statement, yes, I have proof that the State Department and the UK Foreign Office told the Romanians, get this guy off the internet. Romania is corrupt. I'm reading Andrew Tate's retweet. All the documents are a lie. I'm not sure I believe all of that, but I certainly will still be skeptical regardless. The courts are a lie. The fact that I've won at all is a miracle. If they had even 1% real evidence, I would be in jail. Romanian courts just canceled their own election. They are corrupt to the core. When I started winning, the UK, quote, found, end quote, a girl from 13 years ago and said I need to be extradited to go to jail. The UK locks people up for speech. I talk loudest. They want an excuse to lock me up. I am suffering the highest possible level of matrix attack. Now, whether or not you believe all of that, and I want to retweet it. I will retweet it. I just have to think of a comment that's not going to be glib and that's not going to be making light of an otherwise serious situation. Whether or not you agree with all of it, if you have come to a conclusion, despite everything that we have seen over the last 10 years, I would dare say that you are thinking possibly a little bit tipped more from the emotional side than from the logical, critical side. Someone might be guilty. O.J. Simpson might be guilty. But the second you understand that the police department was taking blood out of a vial and applying it to his sock to frame what would have otherwise been a guilty man, if you still say, well, he should go to jail, even though the prosecution is malicious and falsified evidence, you've got a problem. And then I would revert to what Barnes always says. I'd rather let one guilty person go free than have a system run rampant with criminality to frame otherwise innocent men or women. So that is it. It's an amazing thing. This is offensive. And then when you start immediately going into, you're a liar, you're disingenuous, you're getting paid, you are the problem. Understand that. And then back up, dissociate a little bit from the discussion, and approach it critically. You being offended doesn't make you right. And it's funny that we always say it on the left. Facts don't care about your feelings. Critical discussion doesn't care about whether or not you're offended. It doesn't care about whether or not you think I'm a shill, Mossad, paid by Tate. Whether or not you wrongly and stupidly think Barnes was ever Trump's attorney. It's the same tactic, it's the same mentality, it's the same frame of mind of what we see on the left. Donald Trump is an adjudicated rapist. A court found him liable for rape. Okay, then we all have to agree to that now, right? Oh no, but Donald Trump is on camera saying how he used to grab women by the pussy. That is an admission of guilt. That is what the left says. Oh, but the system in America is wildly corrupt. Oh, okay. You think it's less corrupt in Romania? Yeah, Tate might be guilty of some things. A, it doesn't mean that he's guilty of all things. And B, it doesn't mean that you extrajudicially run out and play internet sleuth and then ignore the systematic, tyrannical corruption of the Romanian government, the Romanian courts, the UK government, and the UK courts. And I was going to say Ukrainian, throw that one in there as well. Well, that's the intro. That wasn't even on the menu tonight. I'm just, as I'm going through and getting my links in order here. What was on the menu is me getting pissed off at talking about corrupt systems, defaming otherwise people who I know to be good. And that is right. Tate, don't know him from a hole in the wall, from his advice, from the things he says on the internet. Not my type of advice whatsoever. Who I know to be good, true good people, and a true good person, the lectern guy, Adam Johnson. Grandma Edna, earmuffs, and some motherfucker's going to get on the Twitterverse yesterday and not just defame, try to destroy somebody who doesn't need rehabilitation in the first place, but needs normalization. Needs just, leave him the F alone. Some scumbag mother effer is going to get on Twitter and spread lies, dig up some, otherwise healed wound and stick a finger in it and then pour some lemon and salt in it. You think you're going to do that? And not have the people on the internet who are fed up with this shit call you out in the highest possible terms. For those of you who weren't paying attention, hold on, before we even get there. We're good everywhere. For those who weren't paying attention. No, hold on. Before, because I just saw this. Text Master says, Viva, you challenged me yesterday where I said you claimed anyone who disagreed with H1B1 lies by Vivek and Musk secretly wished to destroy the man entirely. Well, it's posted in locals as requested. Well, then let me go see it. Remember what the accusation was. Here, hold on. Let me go to locals. Let's bring this up right now because I don't shy away from anything. Scrolling up. Where's the link? Text Master, where is it in locals? I'm looking for it and I'm not seeing it. Repost it again so it's on the bottom. We're gonna have an impromptu school of critical thought right now, I think. Okay, so where is it, Text Master? I do not see any link in locals. And if you remember what I said to you yesterday, I said you posting to the entire stream and saying it's in there somewhere. You made an accusation that I lied. So prove that I lied. Show me the link. Now you say you posted it there and I'm in locals and I don't see it. So post it to the bottom. We will not make a habit of fighting. Certainly not with our locals members. But you made the accusation. Now you're asserting by way of chat, super chat or Rumble that it's there. I still don't see it. and so that nobody accuses me of not being totally transparent. Here, let's see here. Text master, you say it's in there. And I'm going to scroll up. There's a link right there. That is for Louis the Lobster, Returns to the Sea. Did I mention I launched a new book? I'm going to show you that in a second. Scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up. Scrolling up. There's Neurodivergent Coffee with our sponsor. Okay, scrolling up. Still not seeing anything. Still not seeing anything. That's the fire. Still not seeing anything. Oh, maybe it's on the side. Nope. Okay, well, I'm not doing this for too long. You post the link. And it better be definitive evidence that I lied, because I take nothing more seriously than being accused of lying. Okay, well, when we get that link that proves the fact, we'll get to it in a second. For now, speaking of defamation and defamatory lies, Lectern guy, you may know him from such insurrections as the January 1st insurrection that was never an insurrection, except in as much as it was committed and carried out by a deep state that wanted to remove Trump from office, remove him from future ballots, and demonize and surveil half of the nation. And they basically succeeded in doing that for 4 freaking years. All of that destruction undone in a day, undone with a victory, and undone on not on day 1, but on day 2. Donald Trump pardoned all of the victims of that January 6th persecution. It's amazing. And we've been following that for, since Trump came into office. Since he signed the proclamation, which pardoned 1,500 January 6th defendants, January 6th victims. And we were following it as they were being released one by one. And at latest count, a few of them were still being held in the DC gulag in particular, but we were live and I was co-streaming Jake Lang's stream yesterday as they were releasing the Jan 6 prisoners from the DC gulag. And yes, I'm using that rhetoric. The vast majority of them are out now. I put up a list of about 17 people 17 Jan 6ers who were still in jail and had not yet been released as at the time posting that. And the list needs to be updated now. I still think Olivia Pollack was in as of last count. But when I tweeted this, Taylor, a lot of the names I probably have some typos in because I was transcribing it off a screen recording of a phone. Taylor Toronto, Robert Tumar, Jason Tucker, Tom Vumos, John Banualos, Rockney Earls, Tatali, this one I knew I got wrong, Gasimaskowski, Joseph Hutchison, Jake Lang, Theodore Middledorf, Daryl Neely, Olivia Pollack, Jonathan Pollack, her brother. A man has had 2 of his kids in that DC gulag for an extended period of time. Andrew Grigsby, Ryan Wilson, Daniel David, Gregory Purdy, and the vast majority of them are now out. And I'm going to do an update to see who is left behind those bars. But Jake Lang, the people, Jake Lang, the man who people called a Fed, who spent 4 years in pretrial detention, was released yesterday. And I can't imagine what that air smells like in terms of sweetness, although he described it as foul DC swamp air, what that meal is going to taste like, and what it's going to feel like sleeping in a nice, clean, warm bed. Secure, with family, with loved ones, where you know that you can wake up in the middle of the night and walk to a nice bathroom and flush the toilet after you go pee-pee in the middle of the night. So that is what was being done by way of undoing the damage of the last 4 years. And they won't let people forget about it, and they won't let people reputationally heal from the defamatory false accusations in the first place. Lectern guy and Adam Johnson, I keep saying Andrew Johnson, Adam Johnson, accused of stealing the lectern. He became the face of the so-called insurrection, of the Fedsurrection. They accused him of all sorts of things. He pleaded to the picketing and parading in a restricted area. He served 75 days. And I don't want to say in jail, in prison, whatever. He served 75 days in whatever facility it was. I forget which one. Much of it, or at least a substantial portion of it, in solitary because of COVID. Pleaded, where some people say, look, don't plead. No, don't plead. Go before that ridiculous DC communist system and get sentenced to something wild like 22 years in jail for a seditious conspiracy like Enrique Tarrio. And Joe Biggs, I think he got 14 years. No, don't plead. Be righteous. Don't bear false witness to yourself. Go to trial in a politically prejudiced jurisdiction and have your life ruined over nothing. And so Andrew Johnson was one of the early ones, pleaded to a minor misdemeanor after having his life turned upside down. And all that he wants to do, incidentally, is take a freaking picture with Andrew, what's his name there? John Fetterman. That's all he wants to do. And then dirtbag number one, because there's two of them. Dirtbag number one, Tom Dreisbach or Dreisbach. Dreisbach. What does that mean? It has to mean something. Like Dreisbach, maybe it's something that means a 3 times jerk. Dreisbach in German, meaning. Dreisbach is a surname which means 3 streams. I knew it. It meant something. Dreisbach, 3 streams. Well, he's got 3 streams, all of which are urine. Tom Dreisbach says, just Andrew Johnson posting a funny picture. He goes and he recreates the picture. That's the picture that set the internet on fire. That one really pissed Nancy Pelosi off. They decided, holy shit, you don't mock the king, mother effer. You're going to have your life ruined now. 4 years later, the man pleaded to a misdemeanor, served time that he should never have served in the first place, that he'll never get back, went through hell that you can only imagine, just wants to enjoy life now without having shitheads like 3-stream McDreisbach come in and remind, oh no, guys, don't forgive, don't forget, and let me lie. January 6th rioter lie. Adam Christian Johnson, who pleaded guilty to storming the Capitol and posing with Rep. Pelosi's lectern, has posted a photo with Sean Fetterman, PA, today. Oh, they got Fetterman to bend the knee because Fetterman is a moralless, principleless pussy. He has to, I didn't know who that person was. And so I go a little hard. I have been known to go a little hard. Let me just bring this one out. Bring it up because I want to be able to get to the thread itself. I have not been known to, I have been known to weigh my tongue, but that was before I discovered the sweet taste of freedom. Let's go to the original tweet. We have to go through a little bit of a, he says, the rioter, yeah, we read this one already. Oh, and then he posts a post. After tweeting, by the way, a lie, a demonstrable lie, he posts links which demonstrate the falsity of the statement that he just made. I don't know if he clicked on the links, but he sure as sugar is hoping that none of his stupid, smooth-brained 3-stream followers are clicking those links. I reached out to Fetterman for a comment. An unnamed spokesperson, they sent me an email from the account, said, Fetterman says, John had absolutely zero clue who he was. He took several dozen photos with people today alone. It's funny. I mean, that's technically true. What would have been nice is if Fetterman grew a pair and said, piss off, you smear merchant jackasses. I'll take pictures with whomever I want, whenever I want, and you won't shame me because of some politicized bullshit witch hunt that was the January 6th persecution. But no, I know it's easier for me to say. I don't have to deal with these problems. Then we go down here. He posts the links to the statement of offense over here, and then what Johnson told the court, and then the government's sentencing memorandum. To which, well, we'll go to actually my comment. I hate to be an asshole. Grandma Edna, earmuffs. Ordinarily, I'm very nice on Twitter. #sarcasm until dealing with pathological morons disguising themselves as, quote, journalists. Then I become an asshole with a big bullhorn. You write that he pleaded guilty to storming the Capitol and posing with Rep. Pelosi's lectern. You then post a link to an article you're either too lazy to have read or too stupid to understand. Do you know what was in the article? Well, first of all, the article is just the article. He pleaded guilty in November to a charge of entering and remaining in a restricted building or ground. That is, I hate to, be an asshole and say, if you're going to editorialize, get the hell out of journalism and go into political activism, although that might be what you're in because he works for NPR. There's a wild difference of fact and law to saying he pleaded guilty to storming the Capitol versus he pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of, what was it? I can't even, entering and remaining in a restricted building or ground. And then the guy just, tries to double down. And then post, no, you guys, you didn't read all the documents. Hold on, let me see this here. Then he confuses or equates statement of offense with the sentencing memorandum with what he actually pleaded guilty to. And even in those very same documents, because when Viva gets angry. And now in an attempt to cover his own defaming ass, Tom 3-stream Dreisbach is referencing the statement of offense and the sentencing memorandum, both of which I suspect he also did not read. If you don't know the difference, you shouldn't be, you were wrong. Quit digging. Just be an honorable journalistic retard. Correct, retract, and apologize. It's not that hard. You go to, this was even the statement of offense, which I think is even more obscene. The statement of offense, paragraph 26. The defendant knew at the time he entered the U.S. Capitol building that he was trespassing and did not have permission or lawful authority to enter the building. Now, admittedly, I think he pleaded guilty to this because it was the only thing to do to minimize legal expenses, to minimize exposure to even further time in jail, and because that's what the feds do in a corrupt system. Overcharge, over-prosecute, just to coerce you down to some bullshit non-charge so that you could then be defamed for the rest of your life by jackass propagandists at the NPR. At the time he entered the U.S., the U.S. Capitol was a restricted building where the vice president and vice president-elect were temporarily visiting. The defendant unlawfully and knowingly entered and remained in a restricted building without lawful authority. That is a whole hell of a lot different than storming the Capitol and posing with electors. But that's not it. Andrew's day is not yet done. Then another jackass comes out. Who's this one? Who's the other one? Oh, here we go. This one. Another jackass comes out. It's like there's no shortage of jackasses on Earth. The intellectualists. It's ironic. They always call themselves the exact opposite of what they are. Mark M. Masferrer. What does Masferrer mean? What does Masferrer mean? Masferrer, origins. It looks like a Spanish name. The surname Masferrer was first found in Catalonia in northeast Spain. Variations, Ferrer, Ferrero, Ferreira. Interesting. Okay. I love last names. They are histories unto themselves. Mark M. Masferrer says, an insurrectionist from Bradenton meets a U.S. senator. I'm still looking for confirmation that Adam Christian Johnson has received his Trump pardon. I'm still looking for confirmation. A rat, a snitch, a son of a bitch, and a defamer, all in 3 short lines. Congratulations, Mark Masferrer. You don't even get the trifecta. You get the grand slam of assholes. An insurrectionist, lie. I mean, it's like they're so freaking stupid. We're like, no one was even charged with insurrection, let alone convicted. Had Masferrer read Jack Smith's report, they would have found they didn't even charge Trump with inciting insurrection. Also, he didn't steal anything. Details. He didn't steal a damn thing. Whether or not he was charged with that, I don't even think he was charged with it, but I don't want to make a mistake. It doesn't matter. He didn't plead guilty to stealing anything. Not an insurrectionist. Oh, and the good brown shirt is just making sure all the dots and I's are. Oh, maybe Adam wasn't pardoned, and maybe there's some way we can get him into trouble. From the intelligent, what was it called? The intellectualist. The intellectualist. So all of these people need to be sued. Well, whether or not they should, or whether or not they will be, I don't wish a lawsuit on someone. You'd rather have no lawsuit than a good lawsuit, because even a good lawsuit costs money, costs time, stress, inconvenience, and it is exposure. And you never know. Anybody who says like it's a slam dunk case has never been a lawyer. Sure as hell has never been to court. I say under ordinary circumstances, all things considered, it's a coin flip. You get a politically partisan judge. It doesn't matter if you have a good case. You get a politically partisan judge. It doesn't matter if you have a bad case. So nobody should rush to litigation. And in as much as, they'll have their defenses. It was hyperbolic. It was opinion. It was close enough to the truth. It wasn't intended to be taken literally, because that'll be the Maddow defense and the Tucker Carlson defense. I'm a commentator. Nobody expects me to be issuing statements of fact. Whether or not they have defenses, I didn't mean it with actual malice. I genuinely believe that the charging documents were what you could then go on to say he pleaded guilty to, because I'm a big jackass who know nothing and shouldn't be doing what I'm doing, but I am anyhow. We'll see what Adam does. But let me just say this, because at this point in time, screw everybody who is an idiot. And you be proud to have the friends that you have, and be proud to make the enemies that you make. And I'm proud to have Adam as a friend. And I can tell you unequivocally, he is a kind-souled man, honest as the day is long, and a whole hell of a lot less bitter about what was done to him than most people would in his shoes. And if the people who think they hate Adam hate me, then good riddance to bad rubbish, piss off and don't come back. Serenity now. Now I'm going to here. Oh, here Neurodivergent says he posted it in Rumble. Textmaster verified locals supporter. Okay, good. Now let's go see what he posted in locals. Remember what Textmaster said, people. Now only because. Hold on. Oh, I got it right here. Okay, we're gonna do this here. Let's bring this all up. We're going back to the beginning, people. So Viva called me out today during his show. That's a lie. You actually accused me of lying in a Rumble rant, to which I responded. So that's not true, Textmaster. You want to be fair or just don't say it. I didn't call anybody out. I never call anybody out. Let me rephrase. I don't call out anybody who hasn't made a public statement that's offensive. You accused me of lying in a Rumble rant, and I responded to that, unless I'm misremembering. On my I called you out during the show on your 2 super chats. All right, so you understand what calling out means? Calling out means that you're called out. It's not a response to. I responded to your 2 super chats. You're damn right. Let's see what you say. Claiming that during the last Sunday show, both he and Barnes attacked people who criticized the lies of the H-1Bs Musk and Vivek told. Oh, that's not actually what you said, but let's keep going. Jumping to the strawman conclusion that if you rightly call out the false America First support of H-1Bs, you must hate both men in general and not want to bring them want to bring them down. Not that you disagreed on this one point, but you must hate them completely and want them removed from the movement. Viva Frei denied that it happened, but I'm going to deny the characterization of what on earth you said transpired yesterday. I believe you accused me of lying. I was respectful in my critique, but firm, and Viva responded with bile and without reservation, denying completely what I had said, which he did, which was a surprise, and then challenged me to prove he did exactly. So I did. Let's go on. Well, I'll get to that in a bit.
Said the same thing. He said it seemed like ever since Trump won, a whole bunch of people have been trying to provoke disagreements within the Trump community, within the Trump supporting movement. And we've seen like obsessing over Vivek's HB 120.
Yeah, trying to destroy a human in their entirety because you disagree on one specific visa issue. I always knew he was a plant, and he's India first and not America first.
The attacks on Elon, a guy who risked his own life, literally risked his own life this past year to make major political progress for the rest of us. I can guarantee you the easiest thing for Elon to have done was to cut a deal with the Democrats and the left, and they would have let him keep and steal as much as he wants, and he would be in perfect shape. He sacrificed and risked his wealth and his life and his legacy to do this. So, maybe not jump on him and assume he's the worst person ever right out of the gate.
What have you done for me lately?
One thing you disagree with him
on. Tex, this might be one of those situations where I have no idea what point you think you're making anymore. If the argument here is that I don't even know what you're suggesting, that I've written. If you think that's a boom and that proves anything, then I guess congratulations, you got me. I'm quite confident and quite happy with what I said there, and I do mean it. That the second Vivek and Elon came out in support of H-1B1, well, there was talk of deporting Elon Musk. There was, if Vivek is a snake, was India first, and only wants to protect his people, that he's a first-generation American from Indian immigrants. I actually, not even sure what you think that proves, but you accused me of lying, which I didn't. I don't, because I have a fear, if it's not of God, at the very least of a proverbial camera above my head. And not only a fear of lying, but a fear of being thought of as a liar. So I'm actually going to make a short out of that clip. Thank you. Oh, all right. Let's see what's going on in the tipped questions over on Rumble, and I'll get the tipped questions on Viva Barnes Law in a second. Ginger Ninja says, to be fair, I think Tex put the accusation towards Elon for lying. Like lying because H-1B would benefit Elon. If I remember Tex right. I don't remember it either. But to accuse Elon of lying is also disingenuous. How the hell do you know what Elon knows or believes? You accuse him of lying in his support for a program. He didn't lie about anything. Elon came out and said, I'm a visa recipient. Elon's lying about why he supports it. That's good. You're accusing someone of lying. You would have to be able to prove that they know that what they're saying is false, or that they have no basis to say it. Anyhow, okay, that's good enough. Let's go to the tipped questions over on Locals. Roostang says, if the rumors are true, all Barnes suggested it is possible that Fetterman is strongly considering going over to Trump's side. Why not reach out to him for an interview? Roostang, I would. Although I think I've been a little harsh on Fetterman, but I think I've also been fair on Fetterman when he does good, but then he goes back to being an idiot every now and again. Gray 101 says, does Trump have plans to also make the content of these executive orders into laws, avoiding another president reversing progress? It's a good question. I don't know. Roostang says, what do you call an annoyed lobster, Viva? A frustration. That's not bad. And then Recorda says, let's not be the home. Let's not become that which we hate. Right on. Oh, and I tend to agree with that. Now, over on CommieTube, come on, Viva, you're a fisherman too. On CommieTube, there's no super chats to look at. All right, so now what else is going on in the news? I think what we're going to do now is we're going to cut this on CommieTube and come on over to come over to Rumble and vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Let me see what's going on in locals here. I love trying to follow the chat here. We're going to come on over to Rumble. Gypsy Muse says, I am confused. Are we supposed to agree with everything Trump and his friends say? Isn't that a cult? No, Gypsy, that's not even remotely what the suggestion is. The suggestion is that when you disagree with them on something, they don't become a liar, lying for policy they don't become a snake. They don't become un-American. And that is what basically happened in large part on Twitter the week before Christmas or the week before New Year's, where the second Elon and Vivek came out in support of H-1B visas. It wasn't a disagreement on policy. It was an attack on the person. Maybe not exclusively everybody, but it became a clear attack on the person, on the intentions, and undermining who they were as MAGA, put it in quotes. So no, you don't have to agree. First of all, you're not supposed to agree with everyone on everything, but the second you disagree with them, they don't become snakes in the grass. Much like, from what I understand, the people who disagree with Barnes and I assessment of the Andrew Tate case, we don't become paid shills and Mossad agents and Tate bootlickers because of that position. We don't become evil, untrustworthy. And if that's the case, then that is the cult. You can disagree with a person without disagreeing with the person. But when Elon and Vivek took a position contrary to what the MAGA populist base wanted, then it became immediate attacks, not just on their identity, but on their immigration status. Okay. Now, with that said, let me go over here and see what's going on. Come on over to Rumble. I'll give everybody the link there. If you are so inclined to come on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com, you can come there as well. Rumble. And let's see that number go below 1,000, and then we're going to get out of here. And let's go over to Viva Barnes Law. I'll give you the link there as well. We're going to talk about Ross Ulbricht. Ross Ulbricht. I didn't realize he had been in jail for 11 years already. It's funny, like the last decade of sorts has turned into just a matter of a couple of years. Like the 4-year block of COVID is almost like stolen history where it didn't exist. And so you add 4 years to memory and it becomes a half a decade longer. Ross Ulbricht has been rotting away in a prison for the better part of his conscious life for the Silk Road. And we're going to talk about that because he got pardoned today by Trump. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Bill O'Reilly can tell me why he deserves to be locked up for the rest of his life with no possibility of parole. And admittedly, I'm not the one who's going to know this in the deepest of depths. But and as much as I think I have an understanding of what happened to Ross Ulbricht, it was egregious. It was over the top. The sentence was insane. And I almost want to think the sentence was deliberately insane so that it would be required to pardon him. We're going to get into it. Ending on CommieTube, coming over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com or Viva Fry on Rumble. All right. Ulbricht. People, they're going to fault Trump for not having followed through on all of his promises because the war in Ukraine is still ongoing, as far as we know. In his first day, he secured the border. They're deporting criminal illegal aliens. Not just illegal aliens, criminal illegal aliens. Deporting. In the first day, he's going energy independent. In the first day, he signed the proclamation pardoning 1,500 Jan 6 defendants. In the first day, let me just go on. I Encryptus, by the way, over in our locals community, made an amazing summary of all of the executive orders signed by Trump and how they apply. It's amazing. Encryptus, INCRYPTUS on locals. Border security, immigration, environmental policies. He killed DEI. I mean, that will never get old, but DEI is now DIE'd, dead. Partisan legal challenges. He went and fulfilled the promise to pardon the Jan 6s and all of them. It's an amazing thing. He heard what the people were saying. He heard the movement. Jake Lang, for whatever the hell you think about him, is an effective activist. And when I had evolved on my position even before I became aware that of the push to do it because I didn't think it was possible. I said this is it. At this point you pardon all of them. And Jake Lang got very active from behind the walls of the DC Gulag. And the movement grew, and Trump heard, and he pardoned or commuted all of their sentences. Charges dropped against those who were still in pretrial detention with no trial. And now he's followed through on another campaign promise to pardon Ross Ulbricht. Let me pull up a couple of good clips here. Oh, I remember what I wanted to start with. Is it this one here? Let's start with this one. Just a reminder of promises he made. This was recent.
Today, I repeat my pledge to commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht to a sentence of time served. It's enough. It's enough. Today, I repeat.
The promise he made was to the libertarians. And it's an amazing thing. They don't always lose. Oh, sorry. They never win, but at least they don't always lose. And this time they didn't lose because it was a promise that Trump made to the Libertarian Party to pardon one of their boys, that being Ross Ulbricht, who was libertarian at heart. And that was the idea behind the Silk Road's dark web website in the first place. Here, check this out.
We're going to go.
Oh, sorry, that's not from the beginning.
And if you vote for me on day one, I will commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht to a sentence of time served.
The banners say free Ross.
He's already served 11 years. We're going to get him home. We're going to get him home.
11 years.
And if you vote for me on day one, I will commute the...
How old is he's 40 years? Can you imagine stealing the 30s to 40s of a man's life? Now, I'm going to try to summarize the story of the Silk Road saga. If I miss any details, I'll follow the chat. Don't accuse me of lying or misrepresenting or being an Ulbricht simp. My understanding, the Silk Road was an anonymous online platform, the dark web, where you could buy whatever you want free of government interference. Ulbricht, something I didn't fully appreciate, but did give it a specific buy illegal drugs so that you can make the market safer, because the government has no business telling you what drugs, illegal or not, you can put into your body. Gave it that angle and was sort of, ostentatious about that angle of the Silk Road. It was a website using torrents and using, I don't know if VPNs was the right word, untraceable between vendors and purchasers who never met, never connected, and were largely unconnectable, except for the fact that it seems like a vast majority of the people on that website were feds or federal agents, but we'll get to that in a second. So it set up this website with a libertarian angle. It was anonymous, but at some point they found out who he was because he used his name on an online message board or whatever. And it was selling drugs from vendors to purchasers. And apparently it was selling the good stuff from Afghanistan. There were some rules from what I understand. I don't know if there's an argument that these rules weren't followed. There were no guns, no firearms, no child pornography, no illegal sexual material. There was allegedly murder for hire on it. Like, it had everything: murder for hire, illegal drugs. Apparently, according to one of the FBI agents who was on a Lex Friedman podcast, there were offers for human parts on there. Whether or not those offers were bona fide legitimate, or whether or not those offers were from other Fed agents who probably were just entrapping other Fed agents by setting up illegal transactions, and everyone's a Fed behind the anonymity of the Silk Road, whatever. That was the idea. He gets found out. My understanding in terms of the questionable nature of some of the evidence that they managed to get in that case is that they were following Ulbricht after they found out who he was. He was in a library one day, downloading some Breaking Bad and being the administrator of the Silk Road, and FBI agents staged a fight behind Ross Ulbricht. And when he looked around at the fight, they snatched his computer before he could shut the screen where it would encrypt the information, and that's how they obtained the information from Ross Ulbricht. I don't know if that is definitely not the sole extent of the police abuse in that case. That's one of it. They arrest him. I remember there were charges that he had partaken in. Murder for hire was one of, he was seeking to have one of his partners killed because he stole allegedly Bitcoin. And they brought all of that up, although they never actually charged him with murder for hire. The murder for hire, from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong again, chat, is that but in the message board on the webs on the Silk Road and the administrators, there was somebody who purported to be the Dread Pirate Roberts, which was the name of the administrator of the Silk Road, and it was an administrator that Ross Ulbricht occupied as a title or a position, but it was sort of like the real Dread Pirate Roberts from the movie Princess Bride. It was a position that people filled. And so the position remained, but the people who filled it or held it or had access to it changed and were multiple over years. And so the Dread Pirate Robert, pissed off with one of the partners who stole Bitcoin, says, I want to whack, or the agent on the other end says, we're gonna get him. Do you want me to beat him, torture him, or whatever? And then sends pictures of him allegedly having tortured the guy. And then that was the murder for hire plot. They never charged Ulbricht with that. And I presume it's because either it was entrapment from the Fed agent who was soliciting the murder for hire, or they were both agents in on it, or they knew damn well it wasn't Ross Ulbricht who was occupying the handle of administrator under the title of the real Dread Pirate Roberts. Okay, they never charged him with it, but yet somehow it factored into the decision-making of the judge. I wanted to bring up the judge. Who was the judge in Ross Ulbricht conviction? They bring it up the judge brings it up in sentencing. The judge goes well beyond the guidelines, which would have dictated a sentence of 10 years, give or take. And she sentences him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Judge Catherine B. Forrest. Not putting anyone on blast. I just want to know who the judge was, who appointed the judge. Appointed by Barack Obama. This is the judge who exceeds the minimum or the sentencing guidelines for a non-violent, I don't even know if you could call it a drug offense, and sentences Ross Ulbricht with some statements that more closely resembled the diatribe of that judge who sentenced Tina Peters to 9 years for purported election interference. A Barack Obama appointed judge. New York. What's her name? Catherine Forrest. Born in 1964, one of 6 children. Her father wrote mystery novels. Her mother was a nurse. The family received food stamps for 4 years, beginning when Catherine was 12. They were homeless for 6 months. Wow. I came from nothing, Forrest said. I came from a father who made no money. He was a playwright and then a writer. And even though he published a lot of books, I was a complete scholarship student all the way through. Okay, good for her. With a good legal mind. She went well beyond the guidelines, sentenced him to life in prison with no possibility of parole. The kid was 28, 29 years old when that happened. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, yes, that's right. They attributed, because the website Silk Road, dealt in anonymous transactions involving drugs, they tried to pin on Ross Ulbricht, or at least it came up in prosecution and sentencing, that 5 or 6 people OD'd or died as a result of the drugs that they procured on the website. And they tried to pin that on Ross Ulbricht. Can you imagine? I just want to pause on there. That he's in a website dealing in illegal transactions, allegedly. I mean, there are illegal transactions. The website itself is just a website to facilitate this. If people want to break the law using the tools that are available, whether or not that's on the car maker, if somebody decides to drive their car too fast, except he said that he openly stated that he set this up as a libertarian philosophy because the government should not be able to tell you that you can't buy drugs. So his intent was a little more clear in terms of what he was setting it up for, but they tried to pit deaths on him. Appreciate that. Doing something illegal that results in the death of people from overdoses, and they put this guy away for life with no possibility of parole. Do you guys know who the Sachs family is? The ones that were behind the opioid crisis, knowingly overprescribing medications, getting people hooked. And how many people did they kill? How many people did the Sachs kill? I mean, I think it's, you could probably get a million out of this. How many people died as a result of the Sachs opioid family? I think it's going to be close to 1 million, if not more. The opioid crisis, heavily influenced by Purdue, not the Sachs. Over 200,000 deaths have been attributed specifically to prescription opioids like OxyContin since the crisis began. More broadly, the opioid epidemic as a whole, including both prescription and illicit opioids, has resulted in about 500,000 deaths from overdoses between 1999 and 2019. By some accounts, the number of deaths as a result of the crisis could exceed 600,000. It's important to note that while the Purdue Pharma and the Sackler family have been central figures in the opioid crisis, their marketing through their marketing and sales practices of OxyContin. The crisis encompasses contributions made from multiple sources. Yeah, okay. Grok is running cover for the Sackler family. The Sackler family is responsible for more than 5 deaths. No criminal prosecution. I think there was criminal prosecution. They settled. This is the standard. Politically unpopular, life without a possibility of parole. Politically connected, nothing. So that is the story of Ross Ulbricht in as much as I understand it. And Trump just pardoned him. After pardoned him or commuted to time served, and MSM ain't too happy about it. From the Hill, the Trump pardoned Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht. President Trump said Tuesday that he had signed a full pardon for Ross Ulbricht, the founder of the scandalous online marketplace Silk Road, fulfilling a campaign promise Trump had made to the libertarian voters. Trump posted on Truth Social he called Ulbricht's mother to inform her. Can you imagine what that feels like? But Biden destroys people, ruins lives, and locks people away. And Trump literally saves lives. Michael Harris, founder of Death Row Records, I need to know his story in greater detail. Pardoned. Came out to the premiere of John Eastman's documentary on lawfare, and basically said, "Thank God for Trump. He saved my life." Trump saved this kid's life, and in as much as this kid might have done something wrong in the first place, maybe be a haughty rebel who says, "Yeah, I'm going to be in your face about defying government regulations." All right, what would be a fair punishment? They tried to pit the murder for hire on him, which they couldn't and didn't. They tried to attribute 5 or 6 deaths to him. What do drug dealers get? It's an amazing thing that convicted drug dealers, convicted rapists, they don't just get less time. They get a drop in the bucket compared to what they threw at Ross Ulbricht. The scum that worked to convict him, I'm quoting Trump here, I think. Trump, yes. The scum that worked to convict him were some of the same lunatics who were involved in the modern-day weaponization of government against me. He was given 2 life sentences plus 40 years. Ridiculous, Trump posted on Truth Social. Ulbricht founded Silk Road, online black market for drugs, heroin, cocaine, yada, yada. Convicted in 2015 on 7 counts related to the site, including distributing narcotics on the internet and engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise. Sentenced to life. He'd become a rallying cause for libertarians. Trump spoke in May, said he would pardon them. Ross Ulbricht has been a libertarian political prisoner for more than a decade. I'm proud to say that saving his life has been one of our top priorities, and that has finally paid off. Libertarian National Committee Chair Angela McArdle said in a statement Tuesday. I'll tell you who's going to be very happy. Dave Smith. And the libertarians. They never win, but they don't always lose. And at least this time they have a very big W in that they actually saved a man's life through their political jockeying. And it's actually, I can't see anything wrong with it. That's Ross Ulbricht. Did I miss anything for that? McMurphy says, for years convicted drug dealers got 10 to 15 years. Him serving 11 sounds about right. Yeah, and I do think he was unabashed about the fact that he was using it to facilitate illegal drug transactions because the government, as a libertarian in his view, shouldn't have the right to do that. RB Ham says, hey, Viva, help a Canadian trucker Canva fellow PPCer out. I'd like to be on your show. Let me see what this give send go is. Are you running for PPC? What's the situation? I don't know what the situation is here. Hold on. Support Richard Wintringham, aka RB Ham. Hold on. Let's see. I'm going to bring this up right now. I want to learn in real time, and I'm still able to share screens here. When the Saskatchewan government chose to implement mandates during the COVID insanity, I was among those who decided that protesting the draconian measures was imperative. As Martin Luther King Jr. famously proclaimed, one has not only a legal but a moral responsibility to obey just laws. Conversely, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. I believe that the mandates were not only unjust, but damaging to society through the use of fear and censorship to coerce citizens into compliance. For 2 years, I spoke out and was targeted by the government for doing so. I lost my job and received 8 separate tickets. Although the base fine was supposed to be $2,800 per offense, the judge ruling had the latitude to impose larger fines if they so decided. Although the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms did their best representing me in the courts, they failed to overturn the judgments. As of now, I owe $45,700 with varying due dates. What is due right now is $10,500. My first ticket has actually been sent to the collection agency, commercial credit adjusters, and that one is for $7,000. I will disclose the paperwork. Unlike other jurisdictions in Canada, the judges in Saskatchewan only give credence to public health edicts and refuse to consider countervailing evidence from other scientists, doctors, or health professionals. Please consider helping me out. If you believe that protesting against these draconian mandates was the right thing to do, the time has already proven and will continue to do so. Time has already proven and will continue to do so that those of us who spoke out and incurred the wrath of the politicized policy were on the right side of history. God bless you and thank you. That's the website. I'll give it to everybody here. Let's see. 7568. The number's in there. Or 5678. All right, here we go. Link, people. Link. Boom. Godspeed. RB Ham. And then King of Biltong is in the house, and he says, first release on Viva. We just released the 47, 2 pounds of Angus, 2 pounds of Wagyu, and a spicy sampler for $145.47. Oh, I get it, 45 to 47. BiltongUSA.com. And this is the link right here. And let's go have a look at what it looks like. And then we're going to get on to Elizabeth Warren. We're going to go from like delicious, healthy meats to disgusting, rancid people. Oh, well, that looks good. It's delicious. Biltong. All right, peeps. Link. Okay, and now we'll go back over to Viva Barnes and see what's in the chat before we get to the next one. View. Roostang, Viva, have you reached out to the Border Patrol agent Zachary Apotheker, who was in James O'Keefe's Line in the Sand, and an interview on your show for a follow-up to see if he is to be reinstated at the border? For those of you who don't know, I had Zachary Apotheker on the channel a while back, after the documentary came out, and I'll have him back on because I know that he likes me and I know that I like him. And then we got Shaylina sent a photo. Oh, of your lovely book. Okay. Textmaster, hold on. Textmaster's with a tip. It says, the lie is claiming those who disagree with the H-1B stance want the men destroyed, Viva. I can't make it any more simple. The lie is claiming, though. Do you deny that some do? I mean, there were people trying to destroy. I mean, the question is, when you say that the people going after, I mean, we'll have this discussion on locals afterwards. The lie is not, the lie, as you say, is claiming those who disagree with the H-1B. That wasn't what the lie was. The lie was people going after Vivek and trying to destroy him were using that as the excuse. And it's not a lie. There were people trying to destroy Vivek and Elon because they disagreed with him on the H-1B1 visa. If that is not a lie, if you don't think that that's what they were doing, then we'll agree to disagree. But I also think if the suggestion that was that the Elon was also lying because of his position, that's a problem as well. So Textmaster, I intend no hard feelings, but I'll have to go back and see what the chat was. But nobody said that everyone who disagrees with the H-1B visa is trying to destroy Vivek. We were talking about the people who were trying to destroy Elon because of the disagreement over that. Okay, that's it. Now we're done. Now we're done officially. But speaking of liars, confirmed, demonstrable, shameless liars. Listen to, if you can. I mean, you might not be able to because you might want to make you puke. Liars who operate in the field of smears and destruction of people with the most salacious, unsubstantiated, defamatory lies ever. Now, Elizabeth Warren, scumbag that she is, knows that she can get away with it because they have, I forget what it is, not parliamentary immunity, but they've got the Westfall Act immunity. They've got immunity. She can get away with defaming people just like she did with Nicholas Sandmann. This woman lied, bald-faced lie about Nicholas Sandmann, never corrected, never apologized, and her defamatory tweet is still on the internet because I think it's probably her most popular tweet, and she doesn't want to get rid of that sweet, sweet clout. She was sued, and then she hid behind immunity, and she was rewarded, and the case was dismissed because of immunity. I listened to Barnes plead at the Court of Appeals, and she was protected by the very same immunity that these jackasses wanted to strip from or deny of Donald Trump. She's a liar. She knows she can get away with it. So what is going to stop her from doing it? Not very much. Here, listen to this. Pete Hegseth.
The Senate just received another report that Pete Hegseth has problems with alcohol and abuse that disqualify him to be Secretary of Defense. Look, today we got a sworn statement under penalty of perjury from his former sister-in-law saying that he was erratic, threatening, and caused his then wife to fear for her safety. And this is not a one-off. Alcohol, assault, harassment, there is a pattern of abuse. It is also clear that the FBI has not done a full investigation. We shouldn't be voting on this nomination this week. We need a full investigation. Americans, and particularly women in the military, deserve an explanation about what's going on. For crying out loud, he could be the Secretary of Defense,
He
the
will
guy
be
in
the
charge
Secretary
of
of
our
Defense.
entire military. This isn't about politics.
It's
This
about
is a matter
smears.
of national security.
Appreciate what she's saying here. The women of the military deserve an explanation as to what's going on, because we've made a bunch of baseless accusations that have been contradicted by his own work colleagues, but we've made baseless, defamatory, smearing accusations, and the women now deserve for us to look into our baseless accusations. Exactly like what they did with Brett Kavanaugh, a man of integrity who, I want to make jokes about, whether or not he's even going to party. But he likes beer. Oh my goodness, he said he likes beer. Let's go after him for being an alcoholic and accuse him of gang raping a woman, Christine Blasey Ford, 35 years ago, running a train on her. Oh, well, we got to look into these serious accusations that we just made. The people of America, we are owed us investigating our own baseless, defamatory smears against an otherwise righteous man. But this is what really, really pissed me off. Can we play this again?
The Senate just received another report that Pete Hegseth has problems with alcohol and abuse that disqualify
Alcohol.
him to
Listen
be
to this.
Secretary of Defense. Look, today we got a sworn statement under penalty of perjury.
Oh my goodness. Under penalty of perjury, you say, adds legitimacy to the sworn statement? Well, shit. Every VAERS report is submitted under penalty of perjury, and you wanted to dismiss all of those to say that it was safe and effective. And by the way, good. You got a statement under penalty of perjury. We'll take it on its face, depending on the context. But all of a sudden, these scumbag smear merchant jackasses want to say, under penalty of perjury, so it's got to be true. We've got 51 intelligence officers signed a letter saying it was Russian bore the era. We got 1,700 doctors who now say that RFK can't become HHS. We've got 15,000 security officials who say Tulsi. They are liars, and we know it. They've done it before. They've done it repeatedly before. They did it with Clarence Thomas. They did it with Brett Kavanaugh. Every time someone comes out of the blue that they don't like, sexual harassment, which is why even in the cases where it might be true, you still have to be skeptical. Oh, but under penalty of perjury, Pocahontas, you are a disgusting woman who lied about your ethnic heritage so you could procure benefits in employment. You are a disgusting race-baiting liar. You lied about Nicholas. I gotta go get it. Hold on a second. Elizabeth Warren Sandman tweet. I know it's still up there. We must stand in the face of hate. Oh, I know the word hate was in it. I'm not going to find. She's a liar, a goddamn liar. And now she comes out and says, well, now we're really telling the truth. Pete Hegseth has a drinking problem. You know who probably has a drinking problem they never looked into? Kamala Harris. We make jokes about it. Yeah, Pete Hegseth's got a drinking problem, despite the fact that everyone he works with at Fox News denied the fact that he ever came up there drunk, that he was ever disorderly. Oh, no, but by the way, they accused Pete Hegseth of sexual abuse, sexual assault. There's a police report for that. And yet the very same people who want to jump on evidence in other cases want to disregard evidence in that case, despite, because, it's different. It's different because I think I'm right in one case and I think I'm wrong in the other. I know that liar, scumbags is what they are. So they're going to vote on Pete Hegseth. And by the way, his performance there, to sit there listening to a bunch of cackling idiots throw around these accusations, he stayed a whole hell of a lot cooler than I would have ever stayed. I wasn't thoroughly enamored with all of his answers, but He'll get confirmed, but they try the same dirty smears every single time. And then they say, well, these accusations are out there, so we better look into them. We made those accusations. It's called the wrap-up smear, and Nancy Pelosi described it. Oh, here it goes. Well, speaking of drunk, Nancy Pelosi is drunk almost every time we see her. I'm pretty sure Kamala Harris is as well. But like the guy, I forget, who's the guy that said it during the confirmation hearings? You sons of bitches want to go after someone for infidelity? You guys want to go after people for alleged sexual harassment? You got a $17 million slush fund that you tap into whenever you get accused of things, not necessarily only sexual harassment, any form of. You guys want to complain about somebody allegedly being drunk? The only reason you would ever accuse them of being drunk at work is because you showed up drunk to work. It was Mullen? Okay. So the smears continue. Oh, yes. What's the segue into this one? Hold on. Oh, yes. Sorry, the segue becomes totally disjuncted if I say what's the segue. The smears. Yesterday, I ran the headline from CTV News or whatever one of those Canadian propagandist outlets. No, I need to pull it up because it's important that I pull it up. Elon Musk's gesture draws scrutiny. Let me get the CTV News article. Scumbags that they are. It draws scrutiny because we drew scrutiny. It causes an uproar because we said it caused an uproar, and now we get to report on what we said or what we've highlighted. Elon Musk draws scrutiny with hand gesture at Trump inauguration. Who's he drawing scrutiny from? The liars. Who's reporting on it? The liars. And so he's drawing scrutiny, and we're just reporting on the fact that he's drawing scrutiny. We're just reporting on the fact that our teammates in this smear campaign have criticized something, and now we've got to report on the scrutiny that our partners in crime have highlighted. That Elon Musk gave a Heil Hitler Nazi salute when he was saying, "My heart goes out to all of you." And then I have to have a quasi, I'm going to presume it's a sincere fight where someone says, well, that's an accurate title. It's an accurate description of what they're doing. They make up the lie, then they report on the fact that people are complaining about the lie, and then they thus try to, through disinformation laundering, legitimize the lie. Who was best to jump on that bandwagon, you might ask? Well, another one of the biggest idiots in American politics. Her name is AOC. Let me see. Did I quote tweet AOC yesterday? AOC giving the ADL a lecture on anti-Semitism. Well, the internet is amazing. And other than going and finding the screen grabs of everybody doing a hand gesture that looks like the Sieg Heil, there's a video of AOC giving what looks like the Sieg Heil. And now I got to tell you, it's glorious. Now, there is no audio to it, the original video that I found on the internet, or at least I'm sure there is audio, but not to the clip. It doesn't really matter. Look at the words, by the way. You want to talk about someone giving a Heil Hitler salute and then using Hitlerian phraseology? I'm saying it glibly, just applying to them the rules as they've created them. And we will not relent to that. We will not relent to that. Look at that. Look at that. She's got good form, too. We will not bow down to that. Okay, now I'll play it with what my montage was here, because I like it. I mean, it's actually so uncanny. I think she needs to resign from politics. Like, I can't get, let me see this here. Look at the actual angle, the actual form. I mean, she does it better than Hitler. Anyway, I made a funny joke. I said, who wore it better, AOC or Hitler? Rules are rules, AOC. You're done. You're out of politics. You should go to jail. These idiots. I mean, and the thing is this, at least in Elon's case, he was talking about giving his heart to everybody. What the hell is she doing other than a Roman salute? Now, some people are saying it's not even Hitler's to appropriate in the first place any more than the swastika. It's a Roman salute. True. And then other people, and I have to fight with people on the internet who say, Viva, don't stoop down to their level. Just ignore it and it'll go. First of all, no. Done with ignoring it. Now, I don't actually adopt these rules because I believe in their legitimacy. I am merely going to apply their rules to them. And ignoring it is what got us here in the first place. Just leave them alone. They don't punch themselves out. These people are the Energizer bunnies of disinformation, hatred, and propaganda. So no, I'm not going to not stoop to their level because I'm not stooping to their level because I'm not serious about it, but I am seriously showing their egregious hypocrisy. They want to call Elon Musk a Nazi sympathizer. They want to accuse him of that. Well, then AOC, congratulations. You are the modern day Hitler. And I've seen all the ones, like there's Hillary Clinton. There's, dude, they tried to accuse Christians praying at a Trump rally of giving the Zika when they were raising their hands to the Lord. Now, I'm not going to ignore them. I'm going to put them on blast. I'm going to apply their stupid rules to them, and I'm going to cancel them by their own peers. And then eventually, when they're tired of getting humiliated and being made to look like the stupid jackasses that they are, they will eventually shut up. And I made a joke, AOC, I'd say go back to bartending, but nobody likes being served by a Nazi. Or who knows? I was going to make a terrible joke, which I will not make. It would not be a fair joke even to people I dislike. But AOC is an idiot. And she deserves to be put on blast. And she deserves to be mocked and humiliated into irrelevance. And she will be. Because the game is over. Trump is in. He's in power. And he's rewriting the past, the present, and the future in real time. And it's an absolute beautiful thing to see. I think I got a little more stuff, which we might save. I'm doing the unusual suspects later this afternoon. So I'm gonna get out of here relatively soon, but hold on. What I wanted to do is this. Yes. I wanted to thank you. Thanks for saying my last name correctly. LOL. I was on the Jimmy Dore show in my situation. My email. Dude, don't do that. Are you crazy? Oh, I can't even delete that. You just gave your email to the internet. Expect the trolls to come right now. I can't believe you go on Viva Fry. He's such a Tate supporter. Oh my God, he's so mean. He lied about you. Okay, no, I'm joking. And by the way, I don't take very much of this seriously anyhow, but let me go send you an email right now, actually, just so I don't forget. Email. Bada bing. Booyah. All right, what else do we got? There's still more to talk about, but there was a Textmaster says, copying from my original post, I think Viva is an incredible talent who is an excellent advocate for many of the beliefs we all share. His coverage of Canada's Honkfest was without measure. But here in this instance, I cannot agree with his interpretation for what he said. That's fine. And Textmax, if my recollection is correct, my issue was you accusing Musk of lying about his position of the H1. If someone's going to accuse someone of lying, they better have the hard evidence that they did, especially if you accuse me of lying. That was not and we don't need to go over, we'll go over it in the locals. But I do recall that there was the word lie came in there. And I think it was about Elon lying about why he supports the H-1B visa, which some people were saying, yeah, he's lying because he benefits financially from it. I remember that at the time. So that might be an incidental, but in order to call him a liar to hide his true intentions, you are undermining a person who, as Barnes rightly pointed out, literally risked his life and imprisonment and the ruin of his businesses to support the political candidate that he believed in and the movement that is going to save America. So that is it. Okay. All right. Now, what else do we got here over in vivabarneslaw.locals.com? That is it. Okay, good. There's one more thing that we're going to go over here before we head on over to vivabarnes.locals.com. Yes. Speaking of devil worshippers, look, when I say that the aggressors always cloak themselves in benevolence, and what's her face, Elizabeth Warren's accuse other people of what they are guilty of, or the liars come out and then accuse other people of lying. That preacher, I don't know what the word is for her, bishop, the person who gave the speech at the inauguration. Demonic is the only word I can come up with for it. Now, I don't often pick on the way people look. I'm just saying, if you've seen that movie, A Love Lies Bleeding, and you saw Kristen Stewart in that movie, you would be able to draw some comparisons here. Hold on. I still don't think I like the movie Love Lies Bleeding, but I know that there's some people who I like who said it was good, and I'm trying to think of what did I miss. But if you think about the movie Love Lies Bleeding, and you think of Kristen Stewart in that movie, there was a picture that was going around on the internet saying, what happened to Kristen Stewart? You go woke and this is what you end up looking like. And I don't think they realized that it was her in this movie, Love Lies Bleeding, which is about violence and, I don't know, lesbian relations and not a movie you want to be watching on an airplane. And I was watching it on an airplane, not knowing what it was about. So this what's the word for the person who's giving this thing? Priest? No, it can't be a priest. Chat, help me out on this. I this is not my stronghold. Pastor? Bishop? A bishop. Okay, that's not what. Jezebel. Can I get a real answer? Not a joke. This person gave a speech at the Trump rally, and I want to play it because it's something. It's truly something to behold.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now.
She's doing the Bill Clinton.
There are.
Hold on. Did you guys see the Bill Clinton? I ask you to have mercy on the people who are scared now. Look, okay, I'm going to shut up and just let it play. Sorry.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives.
Fear for their lives.
And the people who pick our crops.
The people
and
who
clean our
pick
office buildings,
our
who labor in
crops.
poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals. They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
Just do that lip thing. Oh my goodness. I seriously, I swear to you, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. If I were to come out and say illegals, illegal immigrants clean toilets, illegal immigrants pick vegetables in the fields, illegal immigrants do our dishes. If I were to come out and say that, I would expect someone to accuse me of being a racist modern day slave lord. I would. I just want to deal with the most obvious one first. How the hell are these Democrat progressive jackasses comfortable coming out and saying we support modern day slavery? What she's saying, Chuck Schumer said it. No, it was the other guy, the penguin. Nadler. It was one of those jackasses. If we deport all of them, the vegetables are going to rot in the fields because we're using them as modern day slave labor. Joel Osment. Mr. Trump, if you kick out illegals, who's going to scrub your toilets? Even the women on The View took offense to that. How the hell is this bishop, whatever the heck she is, getting up here unabashedly and proudly saying it for the world to hear? Yes, and there's, by the way, there's Republican rhinos in there as well who greatly benefit from the modern day slave trade that comes out of illegal immigration. How the hell do they get up there and say it? There's so many, I can't even think of all of the examples that I've heard, and I put together a montage. Who's going to pick your feces off the back of your toilet? You kick out illegal immigrants. We need them to scrub your toilet. That's what Joel Osment said, whatever the hell her name is. And the crowd, and then Rosette, the woman from White Men Can't Jump. Gloria Lopez? Gloria? Oh, it was, you know what I'm talking about. Billy, you're so stupid. She comes out and like, oh, no. And she's like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Well, she meant it like that. This is what they use illegal immigrants for. Exploitation. That's not even the worst. I just want to get to the beginning part here. You should have seen JD's face. Gay and lesbian, transgender. I mean, I'm sure there are certain who think they might be confused, indoctrinated. All right. Let's pause this. Some who feel fear for their lives. Oh, we're not watching the screen because just for some reason decided to stop sharing. That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. There we go.
In
Yeah, let me play it again.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives.
It's an amazing thing. Some people have an irrational fear. Some people have an unsubstantiated, I would say illogical, but logic has nothing to do with it, ill-founded, unsubstantiated, baseless fear. What does showing mercy to someone like that mean? If someone says, I have a fear that of swallowing, I understand you do. You shouldn't swallow then. No. If someone has an irrational, unsubstantiated fear, showing them grace, showing them compassion is saying, get over it. It's an irrational, unsubstantiated fear. What are you fearing for your lives? Because the doors are being kicked down now? Republicans are coming in and snatching up trans kids? You know, I mean, maybe I'm a bad parent, and maybe there's a better way to do it. When a kid gets up and, when a kid wakes up from a nightmare and says, I'm scared to go to bed, there's monsters under my bed, you don't reaffirm that irrational fear. You say, it's normal, but there's nothing under there. Come and look. Oh, you think you fear for your lives? That's irrational. Open the frickin' door. A, nobody cares in the best possible sense. And B, if you are using that exploitation of their irrational fear to administer life-altering and body-transforming, body-mutilating medications, congratulations, Pastor. You're not the good guy. So what we've got in this brief 1.5-minute clip, I don't have J.D. Vance's side eye, like I can't believe I'm listening to this bullshit face. You've got a woman who is, I presume she's a woman. Hey, do I have to ask her what her, if I were to ask her what her pronouns are, that would be the most insulting thing that I think I could possibly do. Look, I know you're a woman, but maybe you look, do I have to ask you pronouns? Holy shit, is that insulting? You've got a woman up there preaching the word of God in her twisted, demented mind, who's a racist and who supports genital mutilation on children. And she's up there thinking that because she cloaks herself in the protection of the Lord's word in her demented mind, that she's somehow the righteous one, a racist, and a woman who supports what I firmly believe to be child genital mutilation. An adult wants to do something, do what you want. Slit your tongue down the middle if you think you're a snake. Add horns if you think you're a reptile. You can do what you want to your body when you're an adult. But she says it with such a soft, calm voice in front of the pulpit of God that she likes to exploit illegal immigrants for cheap labor so that she can eat out at restaurants, so that she can get cheap avocados and cheap strawberries in the name of God. Her God wants her to have cheap vegetables. Did she say something spiritual? Says banned from YouTube. She said something demonic as far as I'm concerned. Straight up demonic. Anyhow, and that's all I have to say about that. So, on that note, people, hope we had a good day. Have I missed any news? Like this thing in the time that we've been live. Now I got to go to just see here. Exclusive. Trump shares letter Biden left for him in desk before leaving office. I think it's going to be. Oh, there are so many jokes. I'm gonna save those jokes. I'm not even going to tell you what they are because they're going to be damn good. And that is it. I may or may not put up. I'll see if Jake is streaming again. And in my Jamie, or the man who's becoming my Jamie, says that there's been a school shooting in Tennessee. 2 people shot and then themselves. And that's it. Yeah, we're done. We did it. We did good, people. All right, so we're going to head on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the after party. Text Master, no hard feelings whatsoever. And this is why discussions are always done better in person than through super chats, and certainly through the written word of the internet, which can be easily misunderstood. And we're going to see what comes out for the day. So next on my list, I want to see who Trump pardons next. You got Ulbricht, Ross Ulbricht. It's an amazing thing. You can save a man, but you can't give him back the years that were stolen from him. My prediction is Eric Adams is next. This is going to be like the unifier with Democrats, and maybe a unifier with New York City, New York State. And who's the other one that I think? I do not think Trump is going to pardon Bannon, because I do not think Bannon wants a pardon. I think Bannon wants to pursue his appeals, and he's got 4 years for a pardon anyhow. But the next big one would either be Snowden or Bitcoin Jesus Roger Ver. So those are the next two that are big, or the next three. I think Julian Assange, I don't see the political utility for the time being. Bitcoin Jesus, I see the imminent political utility, because he's going to want to get big into Bitcoin now that it's an amazing thing. Trump has proven himself loyal to libertarians. He's going to prove himself loyal to Bitcoinarians. And I know that he wants, well, first of all, you don't invite Eric Adams to the inauguration and then not pardon him on those very, very weak charges. Oh, hold on a second. Are they federal charges? Come on here. They are federal charges. Are the charges against Eric Adams federal? I'm sure they are. Yes, the charges against Eric Adams are federal. He's been indicted on multiple counts, including bribery, fraud. Yeah, because he took an upgrade on a flight. And I have zero propensity or zero reason to defend Eric Adams, but so I think he's going to pardon Adams sooner than later. But Roger Ver, Bitcoin Jesus, he's going to pardon him when he makes some sort of amazing announcement on establishing an American Bitcoin reserve. So maybe he signs. Did he sign an executive order on Bitcoin? On any crypto? Did Trump sign any crypto executive order? I don't think he did yet, and I don't even know which ones would be on the table. As of the latest information, he has not signed any crypto executive orders on his first day in office, despite expectations on social media that he might issue such orders. The crypto industry was not directly addressed in the initial batch. Okay, hold your breath for that, and he's gonna pair that with a pardon of Roger Ver. Viva, look into MAGT Brown at CanCon. I know CanCon. Viva, check this. AM Adams is going against Trump. Lupek says Adams is going against Trump. Put that up. I want to see that. I haven't seen that. Let me go see what's going on. Well, we're gonna do this over on Locals. So everybody, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Come on over if you are so inclined. Link here. If you are not so inclined, and you are inclined to go and support my artistic endeavors. Louis the Lobster returns to the sea on Amazon. Yeah, I made a book. And then we got merch and a book. But a book is the gift that keeps on giving.